John. Big John.
Every morning at the mine, you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Welcome back to another round of Split Decision. I'm Ryan Penny. He's Marty Downs. We're now joined on the line by John Prince Albert. John, first off, it was exciting to see you fight again. Probably not the outcome you wanted to see. First off, I guess everybody saw it. Everybody heard, going through Twitter what was going on. What's your side of the story? You want to put it out on the table right now?
Yeah, I can explain everything that happened. I obviously had him in a submission. Submission wasn't working. I tried for another one. Transition didn't work out. He got up top, went for an armbar, and I was in the middle of reversing it, and I grunted while I was doing it, and ref stepped in. Simple as that.
So at no point did you, and I know there was some things where people said you yelled, or it was just simply a grunt. That's all your...
Yeah, the UFC, one of the writers, somebody came up to me and tried to ask me what happened, but there's so many emotions going on. I just got done fighting. I just got done losing a fight that I shouldn't have lost. I had a lot going through my mind, and he goes, "What happened?" And I was like, "I don't know. I was in the transition, and I yelled out. I'm tired. I'm not thinking." I didn't yell. My mouth was completely shut, like my teeth. I was grinding on my mouthpiece, and all I was going to get out because I'm transitioning. And yeah, he's trying to reef on my arm, but I was in no way in danger of injuring my arm. It wasn't hurting at all. I know I'm a professional athlete. I know my body. I know how my body works, and I understand the limitations of my own arm. I've been putting arm bars, I've been training for over 5 years now, so I know the limit of my arm and what it can and cannot do. And I was in no way near tapping. I still had a couple more inches he could have bent before it broke.
So, when it was all said and done, you heard, from the official or the ref saying, "Hey, listen, I have a mic." Have we heard anything from that mic yet so far? Have you heard anything? Has the UFC heard anything? Where's moving forward with that?
No, unfortunately not. Hopefully we can get that audio. I know after the match, my coach was berating her pretty good, and I think he took her down to either the judges' table or the commission table, and was telling her, he didn't verbally tap, and she goes, "No, these are her words. I can't say verbatim because I wasn't there, but my coach said her words. He did not verbally tap. I was concerned for his arm." Those were her words.
So it was basically she was concerned for your arm, and okay, so that was kind of the plan. So, obviously, Dana White came out and said via Twitter you were getting your win bonus. Is there any word on if this is going to be considered an official loss? Are you trying to get that changed, or there's basically your hands are tied?
As of right now, it's an official loss because, the commission has to record it at that point in time. I'm going to dispute it, obviously, and we're going to send in for a no contest. But as of right now, it's a loss on my record.
And then, obviously, getting your win bonus, it doesn't change the fact that it's down as a loss right now. But was it at least, did you find out when we all found out on Twitter, or did somebody come up and tell you out and back that you're getting your win bonus, and how did that all go down?
That's the interesting thing. That's what I love about social media and all that stuff, because actually nobody from the UFC told me that I was going to get my win bonus. I was upstairs with my coach, and he's like, "You're probably going to get your win bonus." That's what he told me, because we all felt it was a no contest. And then not even 10 minutes later, I'm seeing all these tweets saying, "Well, the sorry, this sucks, blah, blah, blah." And then at least Dana's such a nice guy, and he's giving you your bonus. I'm like, "Whoa, really?" That's cool. And then I go on his Twitter account and saw that he wrote that. So, I heard from other people first before the UFC. So I thought that was interesting.
We're with UFC fighter, Bantamweight fighter, John Prince Albert right now. So have you had a conversation with Dana White at all, John, about what happened and moving forward?
No. He doesn't really get in contact with the fighters too much unless you're the higher profile guys. It's usually up to Sean Shelby, the matchmaker. And immediately after the fight, he came up to me while I was in the back, getting my paycheck and getting the doctor review. And he was just so apologetic. He kept saying how sorry he was, and don't worry about anything, and I'll be back as soon as they can get me on the card. I was like, all I could say was thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So you're basically guaranteed another fight. We've seen some fighters in the past, 2-fight losing streak, you could be in some trouble. But your conversation with Sean Shelby, it looks like everything's going to be good as soon as you're rested up and get past the medical suspension. Whenever that gets issued, you should be back.
There's zero medical, and that's the thing. There was zero medical suspension, nothing. But yeah, I mean, he was just explaining to me how it's really cool to hear, but he was like, you're an exciting fighter. We love to watch you fight. We're going to have you back as soon as possible. And, that's how I fight. I mean, you guys have seen it now. I don't like decisions. I go for, I go for the victory. I go for the stoppage, and that's what they want to see, and that's what the fans want to see. And that's what I go for.
So, I mean, in the big talk, and this has been throughout UFC a lot, is the officials, the referees. Kim Winslow, obviously not the cleanest track record in the UFC. And there's others out there. I think you saw it in some of the other fights that the referees kind of had bad days. What do you think needs to be solved in order to make this not happen again? Is it former UFC fighters need to start being referees, or what needs to be done so that something like this doesn't happen again, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, it's all up to the commission, and the commission's been around since sporting's been around, for the past 100 years in boxing. There's been the commission, and they're the ones regulating all this stuff, and they should have the knowledge, and back behind to make these procedures, a little bit better. Like, you take a 30-minute class and you can become a referee, and that's not how it should be. It should be experienced people, because I mean, like my coach Dennis was explaining to me, she wasn't even in a position to understand if my arm was in danger. She was on the complete opposite side of both of us, and all she could see was his back and then my back. She couldn't see my arm. She wasn't even in the right position, and that comes again with ex-fighters or people that have trained in the sport or any kind of martial art. Like, they understand. If you do jiu-jitsu, you understand what he's doing and what I'm doing. Like, I'm obviously trying to reverse. I'm not letting him trying to break my arm and I'm going to tap at the last second. I'm maneuvering myself into a better position, because that's what we do in jiu-jitsu, and she obviously didn't understand that I was trying to go for a reversal. And, that's it's hard, because you can't have the athletic commission be like, we can only have ex-fighters, or you need a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. You can't regulate it like that, but that's how it should be.
And now that you've had a couple of days to kind of, take a look, and I'm sure you've watched the fight video, do you feel like, maybe Kim Winslow was in somewhat, she was looking for your health and maybe you can understand her side, or are you still kind of, mad as ever and thinking that, this was kind of, you kind of got cheated? I mean, because you were in a better position than she was, since you've had a few days, maybe do you understand her side at all?
Well, I am not mad at her, because I feel referees do have just almost as tough a job as we do. They get a lot of flack, and it's not. People don't understand. It's not easy to get into their fight, but it's also not easy to get into the rest. So I'm not necessarily mad at her, because people make mistakes. But again, this is my livelihood, and I put 12 weeks of sweat, blood, and tears getting ready for this fight, and I know my body and I know my limitations, and I'm going to go out there, let it break or pass out or something like that. It's not her decision. Where I think a referee's discretion should come in is if somebody gets knocked out and then the guy continually beats on you. Then there's the safety factor for a fighter, because the fighter cannot consciously make the decision to stop the fight. If you're knocked out, you can't say, please stop punching me. I'm completely awake. I understand everything that's going on. I have a free hand to tap. It should never be up to her discretion. It should be up to my discretion whether I want the fight to stop.